Okay, this meeting is now being recorded, and I would like to call this meeting of September 6th to order. September 5th, sorry. I would like to call this meeting to order, and I would ask you all to please stand, and I'd like to have a moment of silence in memory of former Planning Commissioner and longtime Santa Ana visionary Don Cribb, who passed away, as we understand it, day before yesterday. And then Janelle Hardy, Commissioner Hardy, will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. So please stand. Okay, Commissioner Hardy? Flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please be seated. Okay, fellow commissioners, we have an item we have to address first before we get started. Commissioner Shipp has an emergency and is asking to participate remotely, and we have to have a majority vote to allow him to do that. So, Madam Secretary, would you call the roll?
Commissioner Christie?
Yes.
Commissioner Escamilla? Commissioner Hardy?
Yes.
Commissioner Jauregui?
Yes.
Commissioner Padilla?
Yes.
Commissioner Rincon? Commissioner Shipp? Vice Chair Marashi? Chair Rush?
Yes.
Motion approved.
Okay. All right. Welcome to our meeting remotely, Commissioner Shipp. Okay. Would you, I guess you have to call roll now?
Yes.
Yes, all right.
Chair Rush, if I may. Hi, sir. We would need Commissioner Shipp to be available via audio and video for the remote. And we also need him to disclose if there's anyone over the age of 18 in the room.
All right, Commissioner Shipp, can you hear us?
Yes, I know the rules and I'm by myself.
All right,
Thank you very much.
I will not call roll.
okay.
Commissioner Christie? Commissioner Escamilla? Commissioner Hardy?
Present.
Commissioner Jauregui?
Here.
Commissioner Padilla?
Here.
Commissioner Rincon? Commissioner Shipp?
Yes,
Vice Chair Marashi? Chair Rush?
Present.
Chair, quorum has been reached at 4:40.
All right. Okay, I'd like to remind my fellow commissioners to turn your microphones on when speaking and off when not speaking. And when speaking, please place their microphone about 4 inches away from you so that you can be properly heard. Thank you. Members of the public may attend Historic Resources Commission meetings in person or virtually via Zoom. I now invite the Commission Secretary to describe the manner in which the public can access and participate in this meeting.
This meeting is being live streamed via our portal at www.santa-ana.primegov.com/public/portal and to YouTube at www.youtube.com/City of Santa Ana videos. If you would like to provide public comment, you may do so in the following ways. Join the meeting via Zoom, enter meeting ID number 884-957-15018. When the item that you would like to comment on is being discussed, select the hand icon to let us know you would like to speak. You will be called upon by the name you entered. You can also join the meeting by calling 669-900-6833. enter meeting ID number 884957151018. When the item that you would like to comment on is being discussed, press 9 to let us know you would like to speak. You will be called upon by the last 3 digits of your phone number. After you're called upon, you may press 6 to unmute yourself. For those who are attending this meeting in person and would like to provide public comment, please fill out a request to speak form and turn it into the secretary. All speakers will have 3 minutes to speak, and I will alert you when your time is up.
Okay, moving on to public comments on non-agenda items. Madam Secretary, does anyone wish to speak?
If you're attending this meeting in person and would like to comment on non-agenda items, please fill out a request to speak form and turn it into the secretary. If you're participating via Zoom and would like to comment on non-agenda items, please select the hand icon and unmute yourself. If you're calling in and would like to comment on non-agenda items, please dial 9 and then 6 to unmute yourself. I will wait for a few seconds. Chair, we do not have any speakers.
Okay. All right, moving on to the consent calendar, meaning one motion for all consent items unless an item is pulled for separate discussion. Is there a motion to approve item A, which are the minutes from our last meeting, July the 15th, 2024? Item B, excused absences. Item C, historic property preservation agreement number 2024-12 for the property located 1106 South Parton Street. Item D, historic property preservation agreement number 2022-20 for the property located at 214 to 218 West 4th Street.
So move.
I would like to pull the preservation agreement 2022-20 for the property located at 214-218 West 4th.
I make a motion to move the remainder of the items.
Okay? We have a
Second.
motion. Do we have a second? All right. So, Madam Clerk, I guess we'll set aside this item I pulled, and then we'll vote on the rest of these items, all right?
Yes.
So you want to do the roll call?
Commissioner Christie?
Yes.
Commissioner Escamilla? Commissioner Hardy?
Yes.
Commissioner Jauregui?
Yes.
Commissioner Padilla?
Yes.
Commissioner Rincon? Commissioner Ship? Commissioner Ship?
Yes.
Vice Chair Marashi? Chair Rush?
Yes.
Motion approved by a majority vote with Commissioner Escamilla, Commissioner Rincon, and Vice Chair Marashi absent.
With regard to item that I pulled, when shall we address that? Want to do that now?
You may.
You want me to indicate now my reason for pulling it?
Yes.
Okay. Well, my reason for pulling it, overall, I'm in agreement on this property, except that I would like, as a condition of approval, for the owner to replace the flagpole that was on the roof of the building. If you look up and down 4th Street, virtually every building had a flagpole, and that flagpole has been removed at some point. That needs to be reinstalled, so that's my issue. Any commissioners have any comments on that? Did you want to, who's the planner in charge of that?
Oh, we can speak on that matter, Chair.
Okay. You want to show pictures of the building, or?
I don't think we have any photos that show the roof, so I'd be happy to share the
Well,
photos.
of course it's gone, but you have pictures present day of the building?
Sure, yeah, we can have our contract planner, James Williams, pull up the slide.
If you can show a Google Street View, you will notice that most all the other buildings have them.
Thank you, Chair. So the images that were requested for this property are on the screen. I guess the question would be whether we can condition the project to install this, because if we cannot confirm that the flagpole was historically there, like original part of the structure, then it's not something that I would recommend conditioning. We can certainly speak to the property owner to see if she's willing to voluntarily install the flagpole, but I don't think that it's part of something that we can condition or require, because it's not like on the front facade, or we can't confirm that it was part of the original construction of the structure. So,
Well, there's historical photos of 4th Street.
okay. So what my recommendation would be to speak to the property owner, Ms. Lynette Chung. I don't know if she's at the audience today. Or if she's maybe available online through Zoom? No? The other recommendation too is, so although we can't condition it, maybe what we're referring to is like a work item as part of the work program, and subject to confirming the fact that, that this was maybe part of the original installation, if not early on, soon after. So we can do that, a work study or a work program item to restore the flagpole.
So, but if we table this and we're able to do some research and look at some, I mean, there are hundreds of photos, historical photos of 4th Street.
Okay. So I would say that we can do a work program item as part of the Mills Act requirements if you were to move forward with this, pending confirmation from staff that that was the case. I haven't personally seen the photos. I of course, believe you. And if we can do that, I'm sure we can include it as part of the work program.
So what is your suggestion as to the resolution here?
To move forward with the recommendation to adopt the Mills Act. And it'll go to City Council, and between now and the City Council, what we'll do as staff is we'll include that additional item in the work program, that's Exhibit D, to restore the flagpole as shown in previous historical photos.
I'm apparently missed something. Why is this going before City Council?
This is the Mills Act agreement.
Oh, well, okay, so that's a simple ratification on their part. All right, okay. All right. I guess I'm all right with that. Yeah. So,
Mr. Chair,
yes,
I move that we accept the recommended action for the Mills Act on the property located, where's this property? 214 to 218 West 4th Street. Is that what it is? Item D on the consent calendar with the stipulation of a work order?
is your microphone on?
Yeah.
I second your motion.
So we have a motion and a second. Madam Clerk, would you call the roll?
Commissioner Christie,
Yes.
Commissioner Escamilla, Commissioner Hardy,
Yes.
Commissioner Jauregui,
Yes.
Commissioner Padilla,
Yes.
Commissioner Rincon, Commissioner Ship,
Yes.
Vice Chair Marashi, Chair Rush,
Yes.
motion approved by majority vote with Commissioner Escamilla, with Commissioner Rincon, and Vice Chair Marashi absent.
Okay. All right. That concludes the consent calendar. Moving on to the business calendar session. I will now review the process for the public hearing so that everyone knows what to expect. Staff will provide a presentation and answer questions from the commission. The public hearing will be opened. The applicant will be given the opportunity to speak, limited to 15 minutes. Members of the public will be given the opportunity to comment, limited to 3 minutes. The applicant will be given the opportunity to respond to comments made by the public, limited to 5 minutes. Public hearing will then be closed. Discussion will return to the commission with formal action taken to approve, deny, or continue review of the application. Please consider the following suggestions when organizing your comments. Please state your name and address. State whether you support, oppose, or are neutral of the proposal. Your statement should include all pertinent facts within your knowledge. Please note the formal action by the Historic Resources Commission shall become effective after the 10-day appeal period unless the City Council holds a public hearing on the matter. Then the formal action will become effective on the day following the hearing and decision by the City Council. An appeal from the decision or requirement of the commission must be filed with the clerk of the council and a copy sent to the planning department within 10 days of the date of the commission's action. The appeal may be made by any interested party, individual, or group. This is the time and place for Historic Resource Commission application 2024-07, Historic Register Categorization number 2024-05, and Historic Preservation Property Agreement number 2024-10 for the property located 1113 West Riviera Drive, located within the single-family R1 zoning district. Before we begin, do any commissioners have anything they wish to disclose with regard to this item? So please state your name before commenting. Commissioner Christie.
Yes, I viewed the property, but I did not speak to the owners.
All right. Commissioner Hargy.
Same, I view the property, I did not speak to the owner.
All right. Okay. So James Williams will now provide a brief presentation.
Good evening, Chair and Commissioners. The first item on tonight's agenda is a request to place the property addressed as 1113 West Riviera Drive on the Santa Ana Register of Historical.
We can hardly hear you, sir.
I apologize. Good evening. The first item on tonight's agenda is a request to place the property addressed as 1113 West Riviera Drive on the Santa Ana Register of Historical Properties and execute a Mills Act agreement with the property owner. The Buckheim House is located in the West Floral Park neighborhood and is architecturally significant as an intact example of a ranch-style house in Santa Ana. The original building permit is dated May 28, 1956, and indicates the property was built as a single-family residence and garage for the family of Robert F. Buckheim for $25,000. City directories and building permit information show the Buckheim family owned the property for 53 years, from 1956 to 2009. In 2009, the property was sold to the current owners, Charles and Molly Martin. The Buckheim House qualifies for listing in the Santa Ana Register under Criterion 1 as an intact example of a ranch-style home in Santa Ana. The recommended categorization is contributive because it is a good example of the ranch-style architecture. The Commission may recall that in order for a property to be categorized as contributive, it must contribute to the overall character and history of a neighborhood or district and be a good example of period architecture. Here we have additional photos of the Buckheim House. Character-defining features of the Buckheim House include, but may not be limited to, its asymmetrical primary facade, moderate pitch hipped roof with wood shakes, broad roof overhang, varied wall cladding, which includes board and batten, stucco, and fieldstone veneer, wood casement windows throughout, recessed front entrance, and detached garage with a covered walkway. The property has no identified unauthorized modifications. Upon consideration of the application, it is recommended that the city enter into a historic property preservation agreement, subject to completion of future improvements as described in the work plan. Future improvements identified in the work plan proposed by the homeowner during the initial 10 years of the Mills Act agreement include, in 2024, trim and maintain landscaping as necessary to maintain a view of the primary facade from the public right-of-way. In 2025, repaint the residence and detached garage as part of regular maintenance. And in 2029, replace in kind the wood shakes on the roofs of the residence, garage, and walkway cover. Trim and maintain. Staff will ensure that the proposed work will be done sensitively and will maintain the property's character-defining features as part of the Mills Act agreement for this property. With that, staff recommends that the commission adopt a resolution to approve HRCA number 2024-07 and HRC number 2024-05, and recommend City Council authorize HPPA number 2024-10. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Does the commission have any questions or comments of staff? Commissioner Christie?
Thank you, James, for conditioning the property with the Mills Act for the trim of the view corridor. I guess they told you that's my point, is that, it's need to be manicured back. I don't want to say trim back, but manicured back so that we'll see, because if I'm not mistaken, they have windows at the lower level you cannot see from the view and so forth. But thank you for doing that and following up. I appreciate that.
Thank you for your comment.
Are there any other commissioner questions? No? Okay. Beg your pardon, Commissioner Hargy?
I just had the same observation. The landscape is manicured. It just needs to be brought down so the facade can be seen a little bit better, but it's lovely.
It is lovely. I just don't like to use the word trim, but it seems so.
just a little bit.
Bring it down.
Bring it down just a little bit.
Yeah, so we can see the windows.
But it's very
and
well
so forth.
manicured.
Yeah, it's very well taken care of.
Any other comments? No? Okay. The public hearing is now open. Does the commission have any comments or questions of the applicant? Would the applicant, are they here? Would they like to come forward? Okay, folks, come on down. Good afternoon. Well, you got to speak right into the microphone. Is it on? Okay, appears so.
Can you
just
hear me
have
now?
to talk
There we
right
go.
into it.
There we
Yeah.
go. So good afternoon, commissioners. My name is Charles Martin. My wife Molly is here, and we're the owners of the property 1113 West Riviera Drive for the record. So I'd like to make a few comments, and these comments may be a little unique in terms of maybe what you're used to hearing. And what I mean by that is I would like to talk a little bit about the owners of the property, and of course answer any questions you would have regarding the property in a few minutes. I was born at St. Joseph's Hospital in Orange and grew up in Floral Park and West Floral Park. Went to Jefferson Elementary School, Willard Junior High School, and to Santa Ana High School, where I met my wife Molly at 16 years old, and we now been married for 52 years. As a kid growing up in Floral Park and West Floral Park, I knew the house that is now being considered for the Mills Act preservation, and knew the original owners, Robert and Marion Boheim, as it's, I think, properly pronounced, and Claudia and Marcia, their daughters. As was stated by William, the Boheims built a house in 1956, in which I think is really unique when you look at homes in the older neighborhoods in Santa Ana. We are the second owners of this property. Preservation is important to Molly and me. As was stated by William, the home is a classic 1950s ranch style built by the well-known builder Hugh Neighbor. And Molly and I are committed to the preservation and maintaining its original style and appearance. And as an example of that commitment, we were awarded a Yard of the Year for our area in 2016 by the City of Santa Ana. And we also received another award in West Floral Park, the West Floral Park Neighborhood Association, for the way we maintain our property. And to expand on that concept, I've met many neighborhood leaders and government officials across the city to ask for their support to preserve the Santiago Creek. And I say this because Molly and I are committed to preserving not only our home and neighborhood, but also the environment that includes the unique Santa Ana Creek, which I know everyone in this city, at least many in this community, very much appreciate and want it to be preserved. So I'll just end by saying I would like to thank the Historic Commission for considering us, and we're hopeful that you will preserve our property in its classic 1950s style as it was originally built. Thank you. I'll take any questions if you have them.
Okay, commissioners, do any of you have questions of the applicant? All right.
No
Well,
questions, just a comment. Thank you for caring for our city and for working with the city, because I know about the Santiago Creek, and I applaud the effort of everybody and all the leadership. So that's all.
Thank you for your support.
And I just like to thank you for spearheading that in the preservation, not only of your home style, but the creek, which is so important, and getting everybody involved and the time that you and Molly have put into this, Charles, for that preservation. It should be specifically noted that it's due diligence, and this city, myself, as a neighborhood leader, know the time and the research that you've done and all of the correspondence that you've did to convince not only Washington, D.C., but the state in coming in. So thank you so much for taking on that. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Alberta.
thank you, sir. It seems as though you've emerged unscathed largely, so
Well, my hair was dark before I started.
thank you. Okay, Madam Clerk, have we received any written communication?
We have not received written communication.
Is there a member of the public that would like to speak on this matter?
Good afternoon, Historic Commission and staff. My name is Phil Schaefer. I served on this commission for many years, and I'm a neighbor of Charlie and Molly's. I have a little background to the property that I think would be interesting for the staff that I probably wasn't unearthed in their research. But the property was acquired in a trade with Hugh Neighbor. The Boheims originally lived on the northeast corner of Bristol and Santa Clara, and they owned the land all the way up to the creek from Santa Clara and all the way over to Rosewood Avenue. So Hugh built that house in exchange for the land that they had orange groves on, and they were growing oranges for tree sweet juice. Anyway, the Boheims were wonderful neighbors. I used to live across the street. Now I live on the same side and down a few doors. But Marion Boheim was always really wonderful to my daughters when they were growing up, and having special treats for them at holiday things and whatnot. But she was really a stalwart figure of West Floral Park. And I think it's great that Hugh Neighbor, who also built the Segerstrom house, which is 2 doors down from them and between the two of us. And so those were 2 really stellar homes that Hugh Neighbor built. And he built many homes in North Tustin, Newport Beach. He actually built the Segerstrom's house on the water. It was his last project he did before he retired and moved to Prescott, Arizona. So just wanted to share that.
Well, thank you, Phil.
Excuse
Okay.
me, can I have you fill out a request to speak form? They're located in the front. Thank you.
Are there any other members of the public that would like to speak on this matter? Okay, and we have no written communications, is that correct?
That's correct.
Right, okay. All right, public hearing is now closed. Is there a motion to approve this matter and a second?
Let's move it.
Commissioner Christie?
I move to adopt the resolution approving Historic Resource Commission application number 2024-07 and Historic Register categorization number 2024-05. And 2, recommend that the City Council authorize the city manager and city clerk of the council to execute the attached Mills Act agreement with Charles A. and Molly H. Martin, subject to non-substantive changes approved by the city manager and the city attorney.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second.
Commissioner Hargy? All right. Madam Clerk, would you please call roll call?
Commissioner Christie?
Yes.
Commissioner Escamilla? Commissioner Hardy?
Yes.
Commissioner Jauregui?
Yes.
Commissioner Padilla?
Yes.
Commissioner Rincon? Commissioner Ship?
Yes.
Vice Chair Marashi? Chair Rush?
Yes.
Motion approved by majority vote with Commissioner Escamilla, Commissioner Rincon, and Vice Chair Marashi absent.
Okay, congratulations. Very good. So, welcome to the family of homes benefiting from the Mills Act. So, good. Okay, next item, item 2. This is the time and place for Historic Commission application 2024-09 and Historic Register categorization number 2024-06 and Historic Preservation Property Agreement number 2024-11 for the property located at 2312 North Spurgeon Street, located within the single-family R1 zoning district. Before we begin, do any commissioners have anything they wish to disclose with regard to this item? Commissioner Christie?
Yes, I visited the property but did not speak with the residents.
Okay. Commissioner Hargy?
Same, I visited the property, but I did not talk to the owners.
All right. Okay. All right. James Williams will now provide a brief presentation.
Thank you. The next item for your consideration is a request to place the property addressed as 2312 North Spurgeon Street on the Santa Ana Register and to execute a Mills Act agreement with the property owner. The M. Jackson House is located in the Park Santiago neighborhood and is architecturally significant as an intact example of a Tudor Revival style house in Santa Ana. The original building permit is dated September 11, 1928, and indicates it was built as a single-family residence and garage by developer Emmett C. Rogers for $3,000. Rogers appears to have been affiliated with the property only during the time of the initial building permit. The earliest identified owner-occupants were the family of Maggie and William Logan Jackson, who moved into the house by 1930. William preceded Maggie in death, and Maggie continued to reside at this address until her passing in 1949. At that time, the property was transferred to William and Maggie's granddaughter, Vitula. Vitula owned the property until 2003, living there first with her first husband, Edward Singer, and then subsequently with her second husband, Ernest Schellenberg. Subsequent owners include Miles Ehrlich and the current owners, Chelsea and Carter Sapp. The M. Jackson House qualifies for listing in the Santa Ana Register of Historical Properties under Criterion 1 as an intact example of a Tudor Revival style home in Santa Ana. The recommended categorization is contributive because it is a good example of period architecture. As established previously, in order for a property to be categorized as contributive, it must contribute to the overall character and history of a neighborhood or district and be a good example of period architecture. Here we have additional photos of the M. Jackson House. Character-defining features of the M. Jackson House include, but may not be limited to, its asymmetrical primary facade, its complex roof with hipped and high-pitched gable elements, moderately rough stucco siding, a brick external chimney, various multi-light, tripartite, and diamond-glazed windows, and a front lawn landscaped with mature trees and shrubs. The property has no no identified unauthorized modifications. Upon consideration of the application, it is recommended that the city enter into a historic property preservation agreement subject to completion of future improvements as described in the work plan. Future improvements identified in the work plan proposed by the homeowner during the initial 10 years of the Mills Act agreement include, in 2024, trimming trees and landscaping as necessary to ensure a clear view of the primary facade from the public right-of-way, backyard landscaping, including removal of small plants and planting of additional grass. In 2026, replacing of the non-compatible back door and any non-compatible windows at the rear addition of the residence with period of appropriate replacements, subject to staff approval. Please note that Exhibit D, the Mills Act work plan for this property, will be amended to specify that any rear replacement door and windows shall be period appropriate and must be approved by staff. Overall, staff will ensure that all proposed work will be done sensitively and will maintain the property's character-defining features as part of the Mills Act agreement for this property. With that, staff recommends the commission adopt a resolution to approve HRCA number 2024-09 and HRC number 2024-06, and to recommend City Council authorized HPPA number 2024-11.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Williams. Does the commission have any questions or comments of staff? Okay. All right. The public hearing is now open. Does the commission have any comments or questions of the applicant? I guess, is the applicant here? Please come forward.
Hello, good afternoon. My name's Chelsea Sapp. My husband Carter and our 3 small children wanted to be here, but we have 3 under the age of 5, so we decided best to leave them outside of this space. I'm honored to be here and honored to be considered for this program. I fell in love with this house almost instantly upon seeing photos and harassed Phil Schaefer, who's here, to try to get to see the house before it was even really open. We love it, and it's really kind of a dream come true for us to be able to live in this neighborhood. I work down the street at Chalk. I'm a physician assistant in the ICU. And I've been commuting from San Diego for the past 5 years. So we've been waiting and looking for the right house in the right neighborhood and the right time to bring our family here. And as we raise our 3 small kids, it's really important to my husband and I that we have an awareness of people and places and things that have come before us. So it's really, really meaningful that we can be in a neighborhood with such a long history and in a home that's beautiful and tells a story in and of itself. And I'm very honored that the Ehrlichs wanted to sell it to us for the first time outside of their family line. So we're going to try to make everybody proud. Thank you all for your time.
All right. Well, let's see. Commissioners, any of you have questions of the applicant? No questions of the applicant? This is almost unheard of. Wow. Everyone must be taking pity on you for having 3 small children
That's
under
right.
5.
That's
Wow.
right.
They're tied up at home tonight with duct tape?
Yes, it's dad duty. He's making spaghetti and I'm here, so
Well, good
heading
for
to
him.
work after this, so we're good.
Okay, well, all All right, we appreciate you coming down. It
Yes,
appears
thank
there's
you.
no questions.
Okay.
So, anything else?
Nope.
No?
Thank
All
you
right.
all for your hard work.
Okay. Madam, well, I guess I should ask, are there any, well, Madam Secretary, have we received any written communication, or is there a member of the public that would like to speak on this item?
We have not received written communication. If you're attending this meeting in person and would like to comment on this item, please fill out a request to speak form and turn it into the secretary. If you're participating via Zoom and would like to comment on this item, please select the hand icon and unmute yourself. If you're calling in and would like to comment on this item, please dial 9 and then 6 to unmute yourself. Chair, we do not have any speakers.
Okay, all right. The public hearing is now closed. And is there a motion to approve this matter and a second?
I can make a motion, Chair Rush,
Commissioner Hardy?
to adopt a resolution approving Historic Resources Commission application number 2409 and Historic Register categorization number 2406, Exhibit 1, and to recommend that the City Council authorize the city manager and clerk of the council to execute the attached Mills Act agreement with Carter and Chelsea Sapp, subject to non-substantive changes approved by the city manager and city attorney.
Is there a second?
Second.
Oh, Commissioner Shipp? You seconded it?
Yes.
Okay, very good. All right, we have a motion and a second. Madam Secretary, please call roll call vote.
Commissioner Christie?
Yes.
Commissioner Scamilla?
Yes.
Commissioner Hardy?
Yes.
Commissioner Hardigy?
Yes.
Commissioner Padilla?
Yes.
Commissioner Rincon? Commissioner Shipp?
Yes.
Vice Chair Marashi? Chair Rush?
Yes.
Motion approved by majority vote with Commissioner Rincon and Vice Chair Marashi absent.
Congratulations. Okay, item 3. This is the time and place for the Historic Resource Commission application number 2024-06 and Historic Register categorization number 2024-04 and Historic Preservation Property Agreement number 2024-09 for the property located at 2539 French Street, located within the single-family residence R1 zoning district. Before we begin, do we have any commissioners? Do any commissioners have anything they wish to disclose with regard to this item? Commissioner Christie?
Chair, I visited the home but did not speak to the residents.
Okay. Any other commissioners? Commissioner
I
Hardy?
also visited the home, but I did not talk to the
I
owners.
see. Okay. All right. Okay, James Williams will now provide a brief presentation.
Thank you. The next item for your consideration is a request to place the property addressed as 2539 French Street on the Santa Ana Register and to execute a Mills Act agreement with the property owner. The Smith House is located in the Park Santiago neighborhood and is architecturally significant as an intact example of a minimal traditional style house in Santa Ana. The original building permit is dated February 14, 1952, and indicates the property was built as a single-family residence and garage for owner Norman Herzig by contractor Charles Lawrence at a value of $12,000. Herzig appears to have been affiliated with the property, affiliated with the property only during the time of the initial building permit. City directories and building permit information identify H. Mumper as the original owner-occupant. By 1960, Edward and Blanche Smith acquired the property, with the Smith family owning the property until 1975. The current owners, Francois Xavier and Roxana Fiad, have lived at the property since 2023. The Smith House qualifies for listing in the Santa Ana Register of Historical Properties under Criterion 1 as an intact example of a minimal traditional style home in Santa Ana. The recommended categorization is contributive because it is a good example of minimal traditional style architecture. The commission may recall that in order for a property to be categorized as contributive, it must contribute to the overall character and history of a neighborhood or district and be a good example of period architecture. Here we have additional photos of the Smith House. Excuse me. Its character-defining features include, but may not be limited to, its asymmetrical primary facade, moderately pitched cross-hipped roof, moderately wide roof overhang with boxed eaves, stucco siding with moderate texture throughout, double-hung wood sash windows, a tripartite wood sash focal window with a distinct horizontal emphasis, a porch rail with offset grid design, and front door and side light assembly with a ribbed pane. The property has no identified unauthorized modifications. Upon consideration of the application, it is recommended that the city enter into a historic property preservation agreement, subject to the completion of future improvements as described in the work plan. Future improvements identified in the work plan proposed by the homeowner during the initial 10 years of the Mills Act agreement include, in 2025, repair and replace roof overhang features as needed. 2026, replace non-compatible south-facing rear door with a period-appropriate alternative. Please note that Exhibit D, the Mills Act work plan, will be amended to specify that the rear replacement door shall be period-appropriate and must be approved by staff. Excuse me. In 2027, trim and maintain front yard shrubs and other landscaping to ensure a clear view of the primary facade. And 2028, repaint the residence and garage as necessary. Staff will ensure the proposed work will be done sensitively and will maintain the property's character-defining features as part of the Mills Act agreement for this property. With that, staff recommends the commission adopt a resolution to approve HRCA number 2024-06 and HRC number 2024-04, and to recommend the City Council authorized HPPA, excuse me, number 2024-09. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Williams. Does the commission have any questions or comments of staff? No? I have a question. Mr. Williams, maybe you mentioned this in your remarks. Who is the architect for this home?
We did not identify an architect.
Who was the builder?
The builder, I apologize, off the top of my head, I don't know, but I'm scrolling to the location. Is Charles Lawrence, yes.
Charles who?
Charles Lawrence, and Norman Herzig was the one who commissioned him to construct it.
Huh, okay, all right. Interesting, this house is, you're categorizing it as a minimalist traditional, right?
Correct.
I mean, and Ali and I spoke about this yesterday. I'm not arguing with you, I'm just offering a suggestion or comment that this could kind of be, it does sway more, you're right, to the minimalist traditional, but it's just on the cusp of almost being a ranch, kinda, you know? But interesting. So, okay. The public hearing is now open. Would the applicant, are they here? Would you like, okay. All right, looks like the whole family's here. Would you like to come down? Does the commission have any comments or questions of the applicant? Hello, sir.
Hello, good evening.
Welcome. Any questions? All right. Maybe you have a statement for us.
Just brief statement. First of all, thank you everyone for considering us for the Mills Act. My name is Francois. I'm here with my wife Roxy and our two daughters Camila and Elise. And we've been living in Santa Ana now since 2011. So it's been 13 years. So this is our second house. We own a house on 19th Street. And we've always loved the city for its history, the diversity. And so when we saw this house in not West Little Park, but Santiago Park, we knew that this is the place that we wanted to be. We love the neighborhood. It's close to the Santiago Park, the Park Santiago, I'm sorry. And yeah, so me being French, I love old things. And I want to preserve, when I saw the house, I wanted to make sure that it was kept in the same condition that it was built in. So it has the original windows. A lot of the architecture around the house is what I think is original, hasn't been altered. And I want to keep it that way. We want to keep it that way. And yeah, keep on the history of Santa Ana. So thank you for considering us again.
All right, very good. Yeah, any questions from the commission? My goodness, you're getting off easy today here, so no questions. So
Great.
All right, thank you for coming down.
Thank you.
All right, let's see, Madam Secretary, have we received any written communication, or is there a member of the public that would like to comment on this item?
We have not received written communication. If you're attending this meeting in person and would like to comment on this item, please fill out a request to speak form and turn it into the secretary. If you're participating via Zoom and would like to comment on this item, please select the hand icon and unmute yourself. If you're calling in and would like to comment on this item, please dial 9 and then 6 to unmute yourself. Chair, we do not have any speakers.
Okay, the public hearing is now closed. And do we have a motion to approve this matter and a second?
Mr. Chair?
Commissioner Christie?
Okay. I move to adopt the resolution approving Historic Resource Commission application number 2024-06 and Historic Register categorization number 2024-04, and recommend that the City Council authorize the city manager and clerk of the council to execute the Mills Act, the attached Mills Act agreement with Francois and Roxanne Fayette, subject to non-substantive changes approved by the city manager and city attorney.
And a second?
I'll second.
Okay, Commissioner Hardy, seconds. Madam Clerk, do you want to call the roll?
Commissioner Christie?
Yes?
Commissioner Escamilla?
Yes.
Commissioner Hardy?
Yes.
Commissioner Howdy?
Yes.
Commissioner Padilla?
Yes.
Commissioner Rincon? Commissioner Shipp?
Yes.
Vice Chair Marashi? Chair Rush?
Yes.
Motion approved by majority vote with Commissioner Rincon and Vice Chair Marashi absent.
Okay. Congratulations, sir. All right. Okay, this is the time and place for Historic Register categorization number 2024-07 for the property located at 1205 South Birch Street, located within the single-family residence R1 zoning district. Before we begin, do we have any commissioners who have anything they wish to disclose with regard to this item? Commissioner Hargy?
I'm very familiar with the property, being that he's my neighbor, and in the past, I was the listing agent for the BIS, and I was very proud that Mr. Altschuler bought the property, that he has such a love of the property, and it's been kept, and he plans to keep it in its best form possible.
Okay, I have something to disclose. I will have to abstain from the vote because I live less than 500 feet from the subject property. So, Commissioner, do I just abstain from the vote and continue to conduct the meeting? Do I have to leave?
it's advisable that you leave the chamber and pass the torch to another member to serve as chair for this item.
Okay. Since Commissioner Vice Chair Marashi is not here, I'm going to pass the baton to our former chair, Commissioner Christie. And so I will exit for a few minutes here. So I guess, where do I go? Out in the ante room out here? So anyway, so what's that? Yes, I'll hand it to you.
Okay. He has to leave the room. Okay, he's gone. Okay. This is the time and place for historic register categorization number 2024-07 for the property located at 1205 South Birch Street, located within the single-family residence R1 zoning district. Before we begin, do any commissioners have anything they wish to disclose regarding this item?
Just the same as I disclosed, I'm very familiar with the property and the Bists and Mike.
Chair James Williams will now provide a brief presentation.
Thank you. The next item for your consideration is an application for the categorization and renaming of the property at 1205 South Birch Street, which is currently listed in the category contributive as a good example of a Spanish colonial revival style residence. On December 4th, 2003, the Historic Resources Commission voted unanimously to list the property on the register under Criterion 1 and within the contributive category because it contributes to the overall character and history of Wilshire Square. Moreover, as a building with distinguishing characteristics of an architectural style or period, it is an intact example of a Spanish colonial revival style home in Santa Ana. At the time of its listing in 2003, it was formally named the Levengood House. On May 8, 2024, the Commission unanimously approved a motion to recommend that the City Council authorize the City Manager and City Clerk to execute a historic property preservation agreement with the current property owner. This recommendation was subject to the property being reevaluated and recategorized as key and renamed as the Levengood Bist House due to the property's historical associations with its former owners and residents, Lisa and Brian Bist, who made the property their home in 2003. Multiple commissioners provided anecdotal information substantiating the property's important historical associations with Lisa and Brian Bist. Staff subsequently conducted additional research to confirm these historical associations as documented in the staff report. In summary, on the basis of the 2003 the 2003 evaluation, the property is currently listed under Criterion 1 and in the category contributive as a good example of the Spanish colonial revival style, as determined through subsequent research and reevaluation in 2024. The property is also significant for its associations with the contributions of Lisa and Brian Bist in the area of local neighborhood activism and politics. Because of the Bist's historical significance, the property qualifies for designation in the key category under Criterion 4B, which recognizes a property's associations with, quote, with famous people, original settlers, renowned organizations, and businesses, end quote. Staff further recommends the property name be appended as the Levengood Bist House in recognition of the Bist's historical contributions. The Levengood Bist House's character-defining features remain those that characterize its Spanish colonial revival style, as identified as part of the 2003 evaluation. These include, but may not be limited to, its stucco, wood, and tile materials and finishes, roof configuration and treatment, massing and composition, original doors and windows, porch, and architectural detailing. The commission may recall that in order for a property to be categorized as key, it must have a distinctive architectural style and quality, be characteristic of a significant period in the history of the city, or be associated with a significant person or event in the city. With that, staff recommends the commission adopt a resolution to approve HRCA number 2024-07.
Thank you, James. Appreciate that. Now, does the commission have any questions or comments of staff with this recommendation? I just want to thank you, in that because of the fact that the BIS did so much to move the city forward, right? Right, everyone? And so forth, and they should be recognized for that as the new, renaissance of Santa Ana going forward, So many times we look, people in the past, but what about the ones that are here that have made significant contributions, and they should be what? So thank you so much. Really appreciate it. Lisa's a good friend of mine, so, too, okay? The public hearing is now open. Does the commission have any comments or questions of applicant? No.
We are the applicant in this case.
Lisa, Brian, do you want to speak? No, they're not here. Okay. I'm just following the script here. Okay. Recording secretary, have we received any written communication, or is there a member of the public that would like to comment on this item?
We have not received written communication. If you're attending this meeting in person and would like to comment on this item, please fill out a request to speak form and turn it into the secretary. If you're participating via Zoom and would like to comment on this item, please select the hand icon and unmute yourself. If you're calling in and would like to comment on this item, please dial 9 and then 6 to unmute yourself. I will wait for a few seconds. Chair, we do not have any speakers.
Okay, and then I would declare that this public hearing is now closed. Okay, and is there a motion to approve this matter?
I make a motion to approve. What do I have to read? I'm sorry. Hold on. The recommended action to adopt a resolution approving the historic categorization 2024-07.
That's it.
I'll second the motion.
Okay. Madam Secretary, would you please call the roll?
Commissioner Christie?
Yes.
Commissioner Escamilla?
Yes.
Commissioner Hardy?
Yes.
Commissioner Jauregui?
Yes.
Commissioner Padilla?
Yes.
Commissioner Rincon? Commissioner Shipp?
Yes.
Vice Chair Marashi? Chair Rush? Motion approved by a majority vote with Commissioner Rincon and Vice Chair Marashi absent and Chair Rush abstaining.
Thank you. Well, let's give Lisa and Brian a good hand for that. Thank you so much.
Okay, so resolve that matter. Now we move on to administrative matters. And the first item up for discussion is the nomination of 2 Historic Resource Commissioners to participate in the 2024 City of Santa Ana Historic Preservation Awards Ad Hoc Committee. We will now accept nominations for participation in the 2024 City of Santa Ana Historic Preservation Awards Ad Hoc Committee. Are there any nominations? Commissioner Hardy?
I'd like to nominate Irma Haragi.
Okay.
I was going to nominate Alberta and Janelle.
Okay. What, well, I assume we have what do we have, a committee of, we have a committee of 3? This is going to be a hard-fought battle here. Is that, how many are to be on this committee? 3 or 2?
There's 2 commissioners and 1 architect that would be selected with
that's
experience
right.
in historic preservation.
All right.
I decline in favor of Commissioner Hardy. I've got a wedding to plan for. Be a little.
Are you getting married, Alberta?
No, my granddaughter.
Oh, your granddaughter.
Yeah, my granddaughter.
All right. So we are back to nomination of
When is this supposed to take place?
well, it has to be done here soon, I think. Ali?
Yeah, thank you, Commissioner Jauregui. So the goal would be that this subcommittee meets and selects its winners and announces those at the next HRC meeting in November, so 2 months.
Oh, 2 months, okay.
Okay. So we have you've nominated Irma, and Irma. Okay, Mutual Admiration Society here, that's fine. Okay, well, we have 2 nominations. Do we have any other nominations?
I want to support the 2 nominations on the floor.
The what?
I want to support the 2 nominations. If they accept, I would like to move with them.
Okay, do we have to have a roll call vote or?
Yeah.
Yes, okay.
I'll second that.
All right, so we have a motion and a second. Madam Clerk, if you'd conduct a roll call vote, please.
Just to be clear, the motion was to nominate Commissioner Hardy and Janelle Hardy, right? Commissioner Hardy?
Yes, both.
Both.
The motion is
Hardy,
to nominate
to
Commissioner
appoint them.
Hargy and Hardy
Okay,
as the nominees. Yeah.
thank you. Commissioner Christie?
Yes.
Commissioner Escamilla?
Yes?
Commissioner Hardy?
Yes.
Commissioner Hardy?
Yes.
Commissioner Padilla?
Yes.
Commissioner Rincon? Commissioner Ship?
Yes.
Vice Chair Marashi? Chair Rush?
Yes.
Motion approved by majority vote with Commissioner Rincon and Vice Chair Marashi absent.
Okay. Congratulations.
They have more experience, but we'll learn.
I'm not sure if that comes with any additional stipends or accolades, but I'm sure staff will make you aware. Probably a private office and so forth, but, okay. That concludes our administrative matters. Moving on now to staff comments.
We have no comments. Thank you.
Well, short and sweet, okay. All right, then we'll move on to comments from the commission. So I will start to my right with Commissioner Christie.
I just, very short and sweet, congratulations to everyone, and thank you for preserving the history and the architectural style of Santa Ana. Thank you so much. We really appreciate that.
Okay, Commissioner Escamilla?
So I guess just an update for the rest of the commission here. So we did have an item before the Planning Commission on the Maharaja House. I know that at least two of our members spoke at it. So as far as I could see, there wasn't really anything procedurally, and did agree with staff that in the ordinance there isn't necessarily anything that requires the Historic Resources Commission to review projects that are maybe not touching necessarily the structure or anything identified within the individual nomination paperwork for a historic resource. But it does seem like that could be a potential loophole gap, I think maybe within the ordinance. So for consideration here at some future time, or kind of speaking with our respective appointers at the city council, it might be worth looking into ways that we would want to update that ordinance in order to maybe at the very least landmark buildings have some sort of statutory requirement to be reviewed by the Historic Resource Commission. So I think that that's probably the fix that we would want to take a look at. So just to let you all know, it was close. It almost came back over here for at least an exploratory conversation, but it failed 3-3. So that's kind of the general update for everyone here. I don't know if we're can I talk to anyone, right? Because it's not on the agenda. So I just want to, I guess, bring that up for discussion potentially in the future. So that's item 1. Item 2, not sure if I have a response on the potential nomination for the Emilio Vasquez mural site. So if we have an update on that, if that is going to come to a vote here, or if we have to have something more formal, or if I have to just actively try to get 5 people to kind of also make the same comment at this meeting to bring that item back, whatever the way forward is. Definitely think that we should try to make sure to nominate the Emilio Vasquez murals as historic resources. And then number 3, I'm just wondering, in the future, I know that we never really include the tax implications for any outside agencies, but I still feel that we should, as best practice, indicate the overall property tax savings and the reduction in local tax bases to the school districts, the county, vector control. Like that should just be part of our standard reporting process, just because it is a much larger number than we get, since we only get a small percentage of the property taxes directly to the city. So again, just for full transparency on that, I think that we should, by best practice, include that information publicly, because there is an Excel spreadsheet that has that info. I don't want to PRA it, but it exists, right? So we should probably just include it in the staff report. Those are my 3 comments for today.
Commissioner Hardy?
Yes, I'd like to congratulate the new Mills Act and local register property owners on this achievement today. And I wanted to let our commission know and planning staff know that I have observed that I believe all the signage has been removed from the United Auto Building. It looks like there's some repairs that are needed. And so I don't know if we need to do some hand holding with the property owner so that doesn't get mucked up. And thank you for your confidence in appointing me to the ad hoc committee for the Historic Preservation Awards. And I have a little message to Irma. Don't be worried. It's not terribly time consuming, and it's a fabulous learning experience because you're going to want to get your neighborhood properties nominated in the future for Historic Preservation Awards. And now you'll know all the ins and outs. Thank you.
Okay. Commissioner Padilla?
Not just congratulations to the property owners again. And that was it. I'm very proud to say that Fiestas Patrias are coming back to 4th Street. So everybody that has a business in 4th Street, especially the Latino community, is super excited to finally have it back where it all started. So I just wanted to invite you all, my fellow commissioners, the staff, and the members of the public to come down next weekend. It's going to be super fun. You can learn a little bit more about the Mexican culture, and my restaurant is going to be providing yummy food, so I can wait for that weekend. That's all.
Commissioner Hargy?
Congratulations to all the property owners and everybody who works to preserve our city. I'm actually excited and interested in learning more because, yes, I do agree, we need to preserve our city. We are very unique. Since I moved into Santa Ana, I know that we were one of a kind, and we are still quite undiscovered, and we want to preserve our properties. That is, so congratulations for your efforts and your care. Number two, we will, on the e-bill, we have, the building turns 100 this year, and we will have an open house to the whole community, all the neighborhoods and everybody, on October 16th from 5:30 to 7:30. So we're drafting a flyer. You will get it in the mail or the email, whatever contacts we have. But it's open house 5:30 to 7:30 on October 16th. It's an open house. We're trying to establish a tradition so people can familiarize themselves with the e-bill that was done by Friedrich Ellie, who has done several buildings in the city. And it's a wonderful building. Spanish Revival?
Mission Revival.
Mission Revival. So hope to see you there.
Okay, all right. Thank you, commissioners, for your comments. I too would like to join in the chorus of congratulations to all of you who received your Mills Act designation. Oh, and I also want to call on Commissioner Shipp.
Yes.
Sorry, Commissioner, you know,
I know.
out of sight, out of mind. I'm so sorry.
No worries. No worries, Mr. Rush. You conducted a wonderful meeting. I would just like to wish everyone, I hope that everyone had a wonderful Labor Day weekend. In addition to that, congratulations to all the homeowners. And also thanks to staff for putting together and gathering everything so we can have successful meetings. That's all.
All right.
Mr. Chair?
Yes, Commissioner Christie?
Commissioner Shipp,
Yes.
we're looking for the day when you want to put your mom's home on our historic register.
Well, actually, I was going to bring that up, but I didn't want to take time. I figured I would reach out offline. That is something that I would like to get done. As you know, Miss Chrissy, because you've been part of our family, we're coming up on 1 year since my father passed, and I'm ready to go ahead and sit down and get that stuff processed, get it going.
Just to give you a little incentive, you know, I'm putting my home up. I have the application to put my home on a historic register also. I'm being the first African-American ever elected to the city council. And so I want you to go first and I'll go second, okay?
Okay. Well, what I would do is offline after the meeting, I will contact you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. That was it.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Shipp. Any other comments, Commissioner Christie? No? Okay. Okay, so again, congratulations to all of you who received your Mills Act designation, and good luck as you continue to make improvements to your properties and keep them crown jewels, or jewels in the Santa Ana's crown. I would also like to echo Janelle's comment about the United Automotive Building at First and Main. There is some attention that needs to be paid to that building. There was probably a car that hit the building on the Main Street side and damaged. I think it broke one of the windows. That glass was replaced, but then there was some brick that was broken out. Well, it took them forever to replace the brick. Unfortunately, they did not replace the brick with the same type of brick. And it sticks out like a sore thumb and a cabbage patch. It's really offensive. So those need to be removed and done right. And it's quite obvious. You walk up there along Main Street, you'll see it in a second. So, and there's a number of other things that need attention, peeling paint and a variety of, one thing I do want to make sure that the owner protects, and that is that Mike had a beautiful billboard painted onto the south side of his building, which is now a ghosted billboard. That's what it is. And I hope that is untouched because it now is part of the history of the building. Do you know what I'm talking about, Janelle? They're on the south side of the building. It said Original Mike's painted on there. Looks like an old style, how they used to do it on brick buildings. We have one that's barely visible on the west side of a building on 4th Street, almost at Birch, adjacent to the vacant lot there, which is in between the West End Theater and I think it's the Tropic Hotel. And you could see it said 5-cent cigars amongst other things. Very cool, but it's of course fading over time. They call that a ghosted billboard, but anyway, that needs to be protected. And the results on our judging of his preservation awards, and I was a little bit involved in the nomination process, so I'm sure staff will get on that. So, and I look forward to our next meeting, which I believe is looking like it will be a study session. So, anyway, that's all I have. Is there anything else to come before us? Then it looks like we stand in adjournment until our next meeting, Thursday, November 7th at 4:30 p.m.